Today, we're going to tackle one of the biggest challenges in software development with a framework called the AI Justification Triangle. This is all about getting past just using AI to write code and instead building a real system for making justifiable, business-critical decisions.
Okay, let's just get right into it. Your teams are using AI, and they are building faster than ever before. But what happens when a stakeholder or an auditor, or maybe even your CEO walks in and asks, why did the AI build it this way? What's your answer? This is the new bottom line for technical leadership. And look, this isn't some niche problem we're talking about. A staggering 84% of developers are already using AI coding tools or are planning to. This is a massive shift in how software gets made, and it's happening right now. The productivity boost is real for sure, but it comes with a pretty big hidden risk.
And that risk creates something we call the justification gap. You see, traditional development frameworks tell you what you're building and how to build it, but they completely fail to answer the crucial AI why. Why this piece of code? Why this specific architecture? And without clear answers, you're basically building on a foundation of faith, not fact.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to move from the challenge to the solution. I'll introduce the justification triangle. We'll see it in action across 3 key industries, walk through a checklist you can use on your own projects, and then wrap up by talking about the mindset you need to really master this stuff.
All right, let's get into the solution itself, the justification triangle.
So the justification triangle is built on 3 core pillars that, together, create a complete, defensible reason for everything your project does. Architectural thinking justifies the why of your overall design, clear specification justifies the why of your requirements, and AI orchestration justifies the why of your implementation. See? Together, they leave no stone unturned.
Now, theory is great, but what's really interesting is seeing how this holds up in the real world. So let's walk through 3 completely different use cases to see this framework in action.
First up, we're in a high-stakes environment, a HIPAA-compliant patient portal. I mean, in healthcare, a mistake isn't just a bug, right? It can be a compliance disaster with massive financial and reputational costs. Security and data privacy are everything.
So how did the triangle apply here? Architecturally, they chose microservices. Now, this wasn't just a technical whim, it was a strategic decision. It allowed them to isolate the most sensitive data, which dramatically cut down the scope and cost of compliance audits. For specifications, they didn't just say, make it fast. No, they specified a sub-500 millisecond response time because they had data linking slower speeds directly to lost revenue. And for AI orchestration, well, they brilliantly divided the labor.
Let's look a little closer at that collaboration. The AI was used to speed up all the repetitive, pattern-based work, generating database schemas, boilerplate code, and audit logs. But the critical, high-risk logic, things like security reviews, access controls, and patient consent checks, that was kept firmly in human hands. This is the essence of smart orchestration. You use AI for speed, but you use human expertise for safety.
Okay, next, let's shift gears to the fast-paced world of e-commerce. We're looking at a dynamic pricing engine for tens of thousands of products. Here, the name of the game is maximizing revenue and responding to the market, but you absolutely have to have safeguards against catastrophic errors. Architecturally, the team built a real-time machine learning engine, but, and this is the crucial part, they included human-controlled circuit breakers. This was a safety net to prevent any price change over 20% without approval. The specifications were just as smart. They limited price changes based on actual customer research into what felt fair. And in orchestration, the AI handled the data collection while the humans defined the core strategy. And again, this human-AI balance is key. The AI generated the competitor scrapers and the API scaffolding, but the human team wrote the ironclad business rules for pricing, and most importantly, that circuit breaker logic. In this case, the human oversight role was basically a business rules guardian, and they estimated it saved them about $800,000 in pricing errors in the first year alone.
Our final use case comes from financial services, a real-time fraud detection system. This world, as you know, demands speed, impeccable accuracy, and, critically, the ability to explain every single decision to regulators.
And this one is a brilliant illustration of a sophisticated architectural choice. They used a layered approach. First, simple, fast rules catch about 40% of known fraud instantly. What's left goes to a more complex machine learning model, and only the highest risk cases get flagged for a human to review. Their specifications were razor sharp. They needed a false positive rate below 2% to prevent losing millions in revenue from legitimate but frustrated customers.
The scale of the AI-human partnership here is just immense. The AI generated over 200 features for the model and the entire test suite, but the human experts made the most crucial decisions. They selected the right type of machine learning model, XGBoost in this case, for its performance and its explainability, and they defined the core business rules. The human here really acts as the model and strategy architect.
So what happens when you actually apply this justified approach? The results are powerful. Across all three of these cases, development time was cut by nearly 40%. But the financial ROI, that's the real story here, climbing over 7,500% in one case. And here is the crucial insight. These incredible returns didn't happen by just letting the AI run free. No way. They were unlocked because a specific human oversight role, the compliance reviewer, the business guardian, the strategy architect, was purposefully designed into the process from the very start. This proves you can have both speed and safety. That is the justifiable difference.
Now, let's move from these case studies and see how this all builds into something you can use immediately. We can distill this entire framework into a simple, actionable checklist for your next AI-augmented project. The checklist is simple, and it directly mirrors the three pillars we've been talking about. You start by justifying the architecture. That's the high-level why of the design. Then you justify the specifications, the detailed why of your requirements. And finally, you justify the implementation, the why behind your specific human-AI partnership. To put this into practice, start asking your teams these questions. Don't just accept a choice, ask, why this architecture over the alternatives? Challenge those vague requirements by asking, are these backed by hard data like we saw in the healthcare example? Define your process by asking, how are we going to validate the AI's output and where is that non-negotiable line for human oversight? And always tie it back to the bottom line. What is the quantified business impact? If your team has solid answers to these, you're building with justification.
Ultimately, this is about more than just a checklist. It's about cultivating a new strategic mindset for a whole new era of technology.
This really captures the essence of this new mindset. Any team can use AI to build faster. That's becoming table stakes. But the teams that are going to truly lead their industries are the ones who build with deliberate, justifiable confidence in every single decision.
So I'll leave you with this one question to take back to your organization. When it comes to your AI-assisted projects, are you and your team truly ready to answer the AI why? Because in the years to come, that is going to be the question that matters most.